guys, I just wanted to come back and check up on you guys as we are finalizing our end of year and out good writers and what good writers do um, and being an author and an illustrator of your own stories. And so these are some ideas for you as you start finishing up your last writing that you're going to send to me. Now, I don't want this to be your last writing that you do. I want you to keep writing through the summer. If you do something fun or exciting, and you can write about it. If you have something old that you want to go back and write about that you never did, do that because we've been doing all kind of different writings, and you can keep writing different writings too. Actually, this week here on Friday, you're going to have free choice day. So think about, do I want to write a letter? Do I want to write a how-to paper? Do I want to write a informational book, a nonfiction book about an animal? All those things that we have learned how to do this year are great features to keep going. But these are something that you're going to want when you're having a small moment story and a lot of other story types. But these are really important for a great small moment story. So it says, grab and keep your interest. Okay, so you want a good book, grabs and keeps your interest. It hooks you. It's called a hook, an introduction. It adds a lot of details. Okay, so you don't want to just say, I went to the store and then I went home. Well, what did you do? Who, what, where, when, why? Those are important questions to ask yourself to put your reader in your story so they understand where you're coming from. Use humor. Humor means to be funny. Feelings, adding that voice to make your writing more exciting for your reader. Use strong vocabulary. Don't just use plain like, oh, it was so fun. Use something as exciting, that it was amazing. I was so excited. Not just, it made me happy. Okay, so use those strong feelings, that strong vocabulary. Write neatly. It's so important that we're able to read your writing. Because if we can't read it, we won't know what really it says. Are you focused? Is your story focused on that small moment? We remember when we're writing a small moment, I don't want you to tell me about a time you went to the zoo and then come back and tell me about a time you went to the store. Remember, those are different small moments. So stay focused on that small moment and tell me all the great details about that moment. Edit and reread their writing. Good writers edit and reread their writing to make sure that it makes sense. Did I use those capitals, those end marks? I use end marks to help my reader. I use capitals at the beginning of the sentences. Use speech and thought bubbles. Have detailed pictures. Remember, you don't want to have a boring book. You love to look at pictures in books. And so will your reader as well. Write from the heart, using that voice. Y'all, when you tell me something, you're so excited about it. And you have so much excitement in your voice. And I want you to work on putting that voice and excitement right how you talk. Because you get so excited about something. I want it to come through to other readers who might not be able to hear you tell the story, but they can hear you through the words on your page. Include sequence, transition words. First, next, then, later, finally. Having those order and transitioning through your ideas is very important. Write with stamina. Keep going. Stamina means not giving up. Use sound effects, onomatopoeia. We talked about that with our poems. And then good writers draw you in. They want to make you keep reading their story. It's exciting and interesting. So I'm going to jump over and I'm going to show you some writing that's a level 5. Okay, so on the lesson plan this week, your parents are going to find the rubric for your writing. When you came into first grade, you were a level 3. In the middle of the year, you were supposed to be a level 4. And then by the end of first grade, we get to a level 5. And then, or 6. There's a level 6, and that's even better than 5. So, but this is a basic 5. So this is the kind of writing that I'm looking for that you should be working towards. If you're not there yet, this is something that you need to be working towards this summer as you are developing your writing skills. So we're going to reread about it, and then we'll go back and talk about some things that this person could do to make their writing even better. Okay? You won't believe where I went on the weekends. I went to the library to check out books. I picked up 5 books. They were awesome. My brother picked 1 book. It was almost time to go, so I speeded the rest of the time on the computer. I was watching PBS Kids. Next, it was time to go, and the movie was not over. So I asked my mom, could I have 5 more minutes? Please, Mom. My mom said, 5 minutes only, okay? I said, okay. Me. Oh, and notice we had captions and stuff here too. So those are some things. Black and white books. Look at the details. Those are good. So reading those captions. Some of them are hard to read because it's a copy, but you can see she says, let's go. And it says, but I'm bored. And she's asking, Mom, can we? So those are some good things. And I love how she labeled me and Mom and her brother. Finally, I got bored. I told my mom, and my mom said it was not time to go yet. I told her I got bored. Okay, let's go back home. So in this story, it's not perfect, but there is voice and excitement in the story. I love how they use the transition words. Finally, you could see next. And one of the most exciting thing is you won't believe where I went on the weekends. Except for we would reread that and we would say weekend. We don't need an S there. And that's what's called a hook. You get somebody interested in your writing. Okay? So one thing I would go fix up is we want to make sure right here where's a sight word. So we would want to use our word wall to help us fix that. But they did do a good job sounding out the unfamiliar words. Oh, also be careful with library as a capital. If you said a certain library name, you could capitalize it, but you don't want to just capitalize regular library. I went to the library to check out books. I picked out 5 books. They were awesome. Now, this is that where, and so you want to be careful. No H in were awesome. But I love this exclamation mark because that told me how they felt and it told me to read it with excitement. They were awesome. Ooh, and I love how they have the capital letter after the punctuation. My brother, ER, picked 1 book. It was almost time to go. Ooh, I love the capital after the period. So I speeded the rest of the time on the computer. Now, when I read that, I know that sounded weird. And so I know that word is probably not speeded the rest of the time on the computer. What do you think they were trying to say? I spent the rest of the time on the computer. Okay, so I would say spent. So I would spell it Spent. So that was something that they would want to, if you read it out loud, and be sure to sound it out, to think about those type of things. So, but I will say that this writer did a great job because I could read most everything and part of their story. So I spent the rest of the time on the computer. I was watching PBS Kids. Now, I like how they did a capital for PBS Kids because that is a title of a website. Next, loving the capital. Next, it was time to go, and the movie was not over. You read capital S, yay! And did you notice I is always capitalized? So I asked my mom, oh, this was a sight word again. Could, COULD, could I have, and I think the E is there, it just copied that. 5 more minutes, please, Mom. And so remember, if you ask something, you might want to use a question mark. Oh, not an exclamation, question. There we go. My mom said, 5 minutes only, okay? I said, okay. And we would want to use a period. And as we get bigger, we're going to want to start using those question marks. But not question marks, quotation marks. When you're talking in your story, your characters are talking, you would want to say, so I asked my mom, could I have 5 more minutes, please, Mom? And you would want to put quotation marks around there because that's what you're asking your mom. And then Mom said, 5 minutes only, okay? And you would put quotation marks there. I said, okay. And you'd want to put quotation marks at the top of okay. Finally, I got bored. I told my mom, and my mom said it was not time to go yet. I told her I got bored. Okay, let's go back home. Okay, so this writer did an excellent job of adding those features that we're looking for. They added lots of details. They used those feelings and that voice from the heart to draw you in. And did you notice the transition words? They had some detailed pictures. It was hard, and some speech thought bubbles. It was hard to kind of see because of the copy, but even adding great color would be awesome. But most of all, did you know they were focused on one small moment? She talked about the library. Did she talk about when she went home and went to bed after the library? No, she stayed focused on just the library moment. Okay? And so important that it was neat. Miss Merritt was able to read that writing and to know how that person might have told the story, because I don't know that person. But by using their voice and their capitalization and their end marks and all their good stuff in their story, I was able to be drawn in and to be in their story with them, even though I don't even know. So I want you to think about that as you're writing, and I can't wait to see the great stories that you send me this week. Keep writing and keep working hard to do your very best work. Happy writing!